So another iPhone that kind of comes up every once in a while that we have to talk about is the iPhone XS. Now, I've talked about this iPhone so much this year. Actually, since I bought it like in 2018, I've been talking about this iPhone a lot because it was kind of a little controversial, mostly because the design wasn't that big of a difference from the iPhone X. But internally, since then, we've found out that this was a pretty big jump in terms of power and performance. At least Apple wants us to think that, because they have been giving the iPhone XS way more features than the iPhone X. We look at things like iOS 16, even iOS 15 from last year, there were so many features the iPhone XS got that the iPhone X, which almost looked exactly the same as this phone, didn't end up getting, which was so crazy. So now I look at phones like the iPhone XS and I ask myself, is the iPhone XS a bad iPhone in 2022? Was it a bad iPhone? And to answer that question directly, I will say no. This iPhone was not a bad iPhone by any means. This was a really good phone and a really good quality device that if you're still looking for a phone, and let's say you have like an iPhone 5S or an iPhone 6, or you have a Samsung Galaxy S8 and you're wanting to upgrade your phone soon, if you want to save a bunch of money, getting something like an iPhone XS is probably a really decent way to go. Now, it's definitely not perfect. There are some issues there too, but for a good quality phone, you're going to be in a better situation if you just go and buy an iPhone XS than keep your iPhone 6S and expect it to, get better over time, because those types of devices that are pretty much outdated with software will give you a little bit of a worse experience overall. But with the iPhone XS in particular, this was an iPhone, at least nowadays, that still feels very premium. It has a really good heft to it. It does not feel like a cheap phone whatsoever, and that was something that I always love about this iPhone. Internally, you are also getting still a fairly fast phone. I've played heavy games on this thing, including Call of Duty Mobile, Genshin Impact, PUBG, you name it, I've probably played it on this phone. From high-intensive games, low-intensive games, mid-tier games, video editing on these phones, photo editing, all that stuff. And this phone has held up very well in that standpoint as well. The only issues I would say that this device kind of has, or that I would kind of route as bad, is probably the battery life. It's not a horrible battery life or bad. I could definitely get a day out of this thing for sure, but I would say it's definitely not going to wow anybody, and that was one of the biggest complaints when this device first came out back in 2018, and it still is kind of an annoying thing that some people have to deal with. On top of that, we really don't know how much longer this device is going to last. It could last very well until like 2024, maybe even longer than that, but it could very well be unsupported with iOS 17 with things how Apple does. But I bet this device is going to last another 2 years on top of where it's at right now, making this device last a very long time, at least from what I'm seeing. So overall, what I'll tell you is I think the iPhone XS is still a very good phone. It's definitely not a outdated bad phone by any means, but I am still curious to see why the iPhone XS is so much more powerful, at least from Apple's eyes, than the iPhone X. It's a very interesting thing that Apple has done here. So in terms of that kind of covers it up. If you have any other thoughts or questions, please let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button, that would mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.